Hi, Ashley.
Hey Robin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm so excited for our guest today.
I am too. As you can see, I have the New York Stock Exchange behind
Yeah.
me. So we will be talking to a business owner, super successful, and a trader in his own right. And his name is Jason Raznick. He is
Welcome
the
to the show.
he is the CEO of Benzinga. Welcome, Jason.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me on, Robin and Ashley. I'm excited to be on the show with you guys.
Thank you.
We love it. I was telling Ashley a while ago that I have been watching the Benzinga pre-market show prep with Joel Elconin, Dennis Dick, and Spencer Israel. They are my boys. And I've been watching for about
They're,
2 years now. And
they're the best.
they are the best. And Mitch. Mitch is on the
Yes.
cat.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know it all, girl. Like that's pretty impressive, Robin. Yeah. Mitch like stays in the background, but you got it. Yep.
He does. Yeah, it's a great pre-market prep show. I really love it. It's an hour long, 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern.
Yep.
It's great education. Uh, I love it. Like I said, I've been watching it for just about 2 years now, and I look forward to it every morning.
Yeah. I mean, you can go to benzinga.com/pre-market and it comes up, and Dennis, Joel, and Spencer are all different types of characters. And Dennis, makes a lot of trades per day. He's a professional trader. Spencer follows the market closely, but he's a good anchor man. And Joel is more of this technical trader. So it gives us a diverse set of opinions, and there's a strong community with it. There's 10,000 people a day that are watching it.
Wow.
I come on Fridays at 8:45 with some stock picks. Sometimes I get lucky. The last couple months has been that a bit. But it's a nice community and a really loyal one. So we're big fans of it here at Benzinga.
And I am one of your loyal fans.
She
All
tells
right.
me about it all the time.
No, that's what you said. I didn't know that. We gotta bring you on some of our shows now. We gotta swap here. We gotta do a little bit of swapping.
Hey, Jason, I was the first guest with my mother, Yvonne Shore, on Friday's Hot Potato.
Really?
It was my mom and I against Dennis and was it Dennis and Joel and
Who
Brent?
won?
Maybe Brent was on our side. I like to say that we did, but I'm sure that Joel and Dennis really won.
You're a winner just because you played.
Yeah.
It's not about how you win or lose. It's about, participating. So, but no, it's great to have you as a fan of the pre-market, Benzinga Pro, all that stuff. And it's great what you guys are doing with your show.
We love it. Ashley and I have such a positive outlook on life. Even with COVID, we are still moving forward, moving along, trying to help people get through this time. We've brought up a lot of different topics, and the topic tonight really revolves around building a business, especially during COVID. And then how do you maintain a business? You have been out there building businesses and a business for quite some time. Can you give us a backstory?
A backstory on how Benzinga was founded.
Benzinga, or your journey on being a businessman?
Okay, that's fair. That's a good question. Not fair. That's a good question. So this might be a long answer though. So if you guys fall asleep, it's okay. I mean, just take a nap. So I was always a guy looking for solutions to problems. So I didn't understand when I was I think it was 13 or 14, that MacGyver was on at 8 o'clock on Mondays, and we get home at 8:10 from basketball practice. My mom and I, we'd miss the beginning of MacGyver. Yes, there were VCRs, but I just thought that was so antiquated. So I started researching digital TV recording. There were no patents out there for it. There was no TiVo at the time. And my dad's like, stop talking about it. So when I was 15, I got a patent attorney, started the process. Once I realized I actually could get it through the thing and actually go for it, I didn't follow through. I gave up on it. And then 3 years later, a guy, I think it was Mike Ramsey, filed his patent for TiVo, and I reached out. I just started U of M, University of Michigan. And he's like, yeah, we just started this. You can come talk to us. There's 6 of us here. But it was my journey into finding solutions to problems. And I think there's a lot of problems in this world. I'll just throw some random ideas. You're at a street light, the light turns green, no one goes. Well, why isn't there a radio frequency that makes your steering wheel vibrate or something? Because your hands are on it and people would go or look up. or they shouldn't look at their phone. But there's all those kinds of ideas. So then it becomes a question of execution. And when I was younger, I started online dating business, textbooks businesses, and some of them were successful, but I didn't run through the finish line on it. So a big saying you have here at Benzinga is running through the finish line. I also gave a TEDx talk and I talked about duarchy. And duarchy is like, instead of a monarchy or a hierarchy, Benzinga is a duarchy where doers succeed. So DOER, duarchy. So if you're a doer, you can make some amazing stuff happen, but most people are afraid to take the first step. And we all get like that. And I've been like that. Like I had that TiVo thing and I didn't run through the finish line. I was young and, didn't understand that part of it, like how I should. And I do that at Benzinga sometimes too. There's probably some businesses that we could have been, if I would have ran stronger through that finish line, but that's a key component. I hate being told no. So when I was younger, like in first grade, the learning resource room teacher, Miss Kent, told my parents that she didn't think I would ever be able to read. And so I think that is pretty crazy for parents to hear, but that instilled in me a thing to go against the odds, to work your ass off to make things happen and overcome any sort of obstacle. That was a big thing that helped me move forward to, where I'm at today.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So you started all these companies. What made you decide on Benzinga? For me, I've struggled with this before, where you have a lot of ideas. How did you decide to just go with one in particular?
Computer was going to die, and I guess the power outlet wasn't on. So
awesome. That's fine.
Yep, that's why I was looking to the right and thing. So what made me Benzinga? Well, it's tough to say. It was like I didn't think there wasn't a solution out there for small cap. There wasn't news and data on small cap stocks. Everyone was covering the Facebooks and Googles, and no one was using Twitter as a source. So I wanted to use Twitter as a source of information to find, smart people and then focus on small cap stocks. And then that's how we got started. Tom Sosnoff, who was at Thinkorswim at the time, loved it and became a customer. And as the brokerage industry changed, we became, the full market. And we believe, like, why not help the average Joe? We thought it was unfair that hedge funds have access to news and data faster than the average Joe. And so we created Benzinga Pro, which is a real-time data and news platform. We also believe like there's other data points, not just a PE ratio, like how many job listings a company has, if it goes lower, all that kind of unique data that we can sell or that we can deliver to people and empower them with empower the average Joe that hedge funds once only had. So that is kind of like, Benzinga was a thing that I needed for myself to look up small cap stocks and understand it. And back after 9/11, I was 22 years old and I was on Yahoo message boards and I was researching these small cap defense stocks. And I was like, had a big following. The CEO started reaching out to me of these small cap stocks. And I was 22 and I didn't know what I was doing. And I would post stuff on message boards and the stocks would like move substantially. I didn't have much money then. So many years later, I was like, why isn't there a small cap service out there? And that's where like Benzinga got started.
Awesome. Talking about my guys, Dennis, Joel, Spencer, and Mitch.
Yes.
How did you know, or did you know, how to surround yourself with a great team? Because you really have a great team around you, Jason.
So it's tough. It's really tough. People are tough in the sense of you don't know what you're going to get when you hire someone. Also, the person on the other side doesn't know what they're going to get when they join a company. So if you don't know me and you join the company, you're like, whoa, Jason's very this. I believe in radical candor. I believe that you shouldn't hold back. I think feedback is a gift. I mean, I think it is in the sense like if you can be constructive and say, here are 2 things you can do better, then just let it serve as a gift. Like if you had to give feedback on me, I would say, okay, I'm sometimes all over the place. Sometimes, like I'm saying, the feedback that I can improve on, I should be more crisp or organized with what my delivery, like what I'm talking about, especially now. And what I've learned over the years are the great people to work with are people that covet feedback and then remove ego as much as possible. And I think Spencer, Joel, Dennis exude that. But things just, come to life as you network and make relationships. but we only have so much time in a day. So it's not, necessarily as easy as just make a relationship. It's you have to spend your time wisely, and you want to empower people and build a company that allows people to excel. But a lot of people still like a 9 to 5 and don't really want to get out of their comfort zone. I'm all about getting people out of their comfort zone, like getting people to achieve more than what they not only believe that they can achieve, but be the best at what they're working on. So there's a lot of things like that at our company that, someone came here, didn't think they could talk to the CEO of, or the COO or CFO of Microsoft, but they can. And that's the reality of it. When I was in college, I was interviewing like big time CEOs, and this is an extension of that. If I'm like a person here, I'm going to go try to reach out to Mark Cuban and interview him. And that's what I want people to recognize, that they can do that here.
That's amazing. How do you push people out of their comfort zone?
You can show them lessons of others who have done it and seen success, but ultimately you can't push them out. They have to push themselves out. They have to make themselves uncomfortable. They have to realize, like, there's exercises you can do, like go to Starbucks and try to get a coffee for free, just to like get them to be uncomfortable. Say like, hey, can I have this?
That
like,
makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah. Or like,
I'm gonna try that.
Or go up at a mall to like, to people you'd be intimidated to, like if you're whatever. Like I was in college, I was I was always afraid to get a no from a girl. So I was always very, maybe shy until like the last minute, and then, whatever it was. And so going to Starbucks, try to get a free coffee is a great exercise to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. And the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and the more you're willing to experiment. But the bottom line is, to be successful, you got to be willing to make cold calls. Jean-Paul DeJoyer, the founder of John Paul Mitchell Systems, he made cold calls. I mean, not cold calls. He was homeless. He was knocking on doors. Like, you got to be willing to do that. And so people sometimes aren't. And it's, as we're growing, we're like, 70, 80 people right now. It's hard for me to spend the time. So the culture, our core values are everything. And it's find a better way. It's the what, not the who, but it's like all these different core values that we have hopefully help someone exude and make themselves get in uncomfortable situations and learn from it.
At what point did you know that you were successful? You have 70, 80 members on staff. At what point did you know, yep, this is a successful business. I did it really well, and now I'm going to sustain what I have built and grow it?
So I don't know we're a successful business at this point. I think yes, we've grown. We went, from a couple $100,000 in revenue to a decent 8-digit revenue business. But I like, what I define success of, like, we solve people's problems or help them make better decisions in the stock market. And we're not there yet where we've really done that. We have some methods to how we're going to do that eventually. And we're not there yet. I mean, we need more developers, we need more product managers. That's what I would define success. Money follows, it doesn't lead. So just like with what you guys are doing, I don't know how many listeners you have, but let's say you had 2 listeners the first show, if this is whatever, then 10, then it's like money doesn't come before, like money follows, never leads. So you build product and maybe success happens. There are parts of the business here that I started that people thought were total jokes, and now they're like a 7-digit business. And yes, I could have had an egg in my face on that for sure. And I'm sure I have in other areas. I know I have, but money follows, it doesn't lead. And I say that to so many people, because like, I have people interview for a job here, and I'm like, yeah, you'll start at this kind of wage, but if you're successful, you'll make this. I mean, we have some people who started out like very low wages who make more than 3 people combined now. I mean, it's crazy, because we believe it's like an eat what you kill. Like we put you in position to succeed. And if we can incentivize properly, then people should do well, but it's a challenge. So, but that's, I guess, my answer to that.
I like your forward discussion and There's no sugarcoating, and Ashley and I do not like that at all. We want just tell me directly what it is that you want, you're asking, and let's have a candid conversation about it and not sugarcoat things.
The worst is when someone's like, oh, Jason was mean to me or something, or said this, go to versus going to me. Like I had a situation like this like a week ago, and someone's like, and I read the conversation. I'm like, I want this person to want to, it's a simple thing. This person doesn't know the keyboard, okay? But he's on our news desk. He doesn't know the keyboard by heart, okay? But this person wants to be our number one writer. That's what his desire is. And so to be faster, you have to know the keyboard. And if you don't know the keyboard, like it's not trivial. It's something to learn. There's no question. So there's a bunch of online courses, and you can take 15 minutes a day. Within 2 weeks, you'll know the keyboard because the person kind of knew it by heart, pretty much. It's not just for Benzinga, but if this person learns the keyboard, it's going to help him in his life throughout his life. There's no question it's going to help him throughout his life if he knows the keyboard. So those are things like I want people to want to better themselves. And then if they don't, and they're not showing the effort, I'm going to say, listen, I was spending time with you and trying to help, but if you're not giving back or doing, then let's move on. Let's be serious. And the person said that they're going to do it, and then I haven't heard back. So at this young age, is a lot that some of the people are here want to help instill habits, because I made mistakes in my early 20s, and I want people not to make the same mistakes I made. So if I can say, here, build this habit, and I had to be a little tough to say, listen, you're not doing it. So, and that's just what it is. So that people may not like that, but I'm just like, if you're not going to invest your time, I'm not going to invest my time on it.
Mm-hmm. It's Ashley and I have had a lot of conversations about, I'm so much older than Ashley is. So I too try to
No, you're not. You guys are all young. You're 21 and
yes, 21 and 23.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. You really want the best for somebody, and the feedback is hard to take sometimes, or Ashley will give me tips and tricks on different dishes, and I'm a horrible cook. My husband the other day told our neighbors again that he knows when dinner's ready when the fire alarm goes off, which is kind of true, but
that's funny. That's funny. That's fine. That's good. That was a good one. I like it. But yeah, but it's not just like feedback that I'm just saying structurally wise, like forget even like his talent. I'm saying learn a trait, learn this, there's so many mistakes I made. And by the way, I get feedback too on mistakes I make. I don't follow through on some certain things when I say. It's like in life, if everyone does what they says and says what they do what you say what you do, life will be a lot easier for everyone.
How do you remain creative, and how do you kind of pivot when things change? Because that's something, when you start a business, if you had it for multiple years, it's easy to get into a rut. How do you continually improve? Like, are you watching the trends? Especially now in the stock market, so many people are just starting new companies online, and just, and I feel like since you guys have been around for so long, you kind of have an edge on that. But how do you continue to stay on the up and up?
Well, it's like, you think, do you take the trendy thing, or does this go to your vision? And it has to go to your vision and your execution. And if it does, then you continue to move forward. If it doesn't, then you detour. And so there's a lot of changes in the market. We've introduced newsletters. We introduced, more beginner friendly products, where before we were mostly advanced. So now we have a lot of the beginner stuff, like what definitions, more information for new investors. You got to look at what's going on in the market and respond to it. And you got to execute. Execution is the name of the game. Execution, creativity are the names of the game. But see, like an idea is only idea. Like ideas they're cool, but they're somewhat worthless if there's no, they're worthless if there's no execution. So execution is the name. And people get excited about the new thing. That's what everyone does, including myself. So, and I can sense it some days. I'm like, oh, what's new here at this company? Like, I want to start this whole new division here, which I haven't yet. And I'm angry that I haven't started yet. And I just haven't executed on it. And it's ideas are only as good as like the execution behind it. So one of the reasons I haven't started this new division is because I need to find the right person to lead it. And that's just a challenge that I have. to do that. But there's plenty of ideas at Benzinga that we have not touched on. But if we find the right leaders, they can come here and they'll execute it in a strong way.
So speaking of leaders, do you have any mentors that you look up to currently, or do you have any people that you've just read some autobiographies that you just, or what, an autobiography or biography? I'm terrible at biography. Is
you got it right. I mean, autobiography is like it's about a person,
about you,
and about yourself, and biography.
Okay.
So I read a lot of nonfiction. You're
yes,
right.
Say any books or anything that are inspiring to you.
For sure. I mean, we use as our operating system, we use a thing called Traction. It's a book. It's called EOS. It's the Entrepreneur Operating System. Like, you have like an operating system for your computer. We have it for our company. And so the book Traction is how we operate our company. So that's a good book for someone who's an aspiring entrepreneur for sure. The book that this is not necessarily aspiring, but you want to know my most profitable book ever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna get it for you guys.
Okay.
It's my most profitable book ever.
I'll add these onto our Goodreads account.
What did you say? Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have a Goodreads account for the podcast, and I'll add both of these books onto the Goodreads account.
I have the cover somewhere. But this book,
Elon Musk.
Do you know who that is?
I've heard stories about this book.
Do you know who Elon Musk is?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Absolutely.
I was just talking about him today.
So Elon Musk is Tesla's my biggest position by far. I've owned it since $38. But 3 or 4 years ago, I read this book, and
oh my God, I'm still shocked by that statement.
I've owned Tesla for a long time. And so I read this on a trip 3 or 4 years ago. And there's like paragraphs in here about when Elon Musk, they wouldn't let him test his rockets at any of the places where they launched rockets because they didn't want a new person in there. And he had to drive, and they had to drive in the middle of the night to find place, and it was hailing and all this stuff. And he got it done. And then he not only did he get it done, he got the rocket land in the same spot. And it was like the 4th rocket launch that almost failed. And if it did, they're going to be out of business. He made this thing work. And once I read this, I go, there's no way that he's going to be stopped. There's no one with that much persistence I've ever seen in my entire life make that happen. There's no way. And this guy that's it. And this book, I would have sold some of that stock back then if I didn't read this book. So yeah.
Wow.
That's a profitable one. That's not, Traction's more for the entrepreneur stuff. The Elon Musk was just like, if you want to hear about dogged persistence, that's your guy. I mean, there's no one better. No one. Maybe.
I've heard so many great, I've heard of that book before, but I have not read it. So I feel like this is just another sign that I need to go buy it immediately.
Yeah, you should have read it like 4 years ago.
I know.
I'm sorry. I try to tell everyone.
I know. Why didn't we? I didn't know you 4 years ago. Dang it.
Still long the stock though. I'm still long and strong the stock. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say is, like you said, mentors. I mean, I learned from my dad, my family for sure. A couple other guys, Dan Gilbert, who owns the Cleveland Cavaliers, CEO of or chairman of Rocket Mortgage, a couple of our other investors, Brad Keywell, Eric Lefkowski. These are guys that have built multiple billion-dollar businesses, and who I'm close with and who give me advice from time to time and challenge me. And so I try to relay that to the team here. I really like people getting exposure to other leaders like that and not just me, because at the end of the day, Benzinga is nothing without an amazing team. And even my title, I know you guys said CEO, but I right now say Chief Zinger, but I wish we had no titles, because I really, at the end of the day, I want to be like the servant here serving the team to make sure they have the resources to move bottlenecks, out of their way. And the only times it gets frustrating is when things don't go right. And then I'm trying to come in and fix, or not frustrating, but that's where, if you have a great team, you can do a lot of awesome things. A lot.
Ashley and I have talked about that too. I've been in management for over 30 years, and that really is what it boils
everywhere.
on.
A lot of places.
What's that?
You said you've been in management over 30 years, at a lot of different places, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably at least 5 to 6 different places in different industries.
Yep.
And your team, that's really why I started out the interview with, how did you surround yourself with such great people, and how did you know that they were the right ones for you? Because the team is really what makes it work. And if you don't have the right team if you don't have the right enthusiasm, the motivation. Ashley and I have talked hours on end about, do we believe that you have the intrinsic desire to be motivated, or can you be motivated by something else? And both Ashley and I have agreed for over a year now that you have to have it inside of you. You have to have the drive and the willingness. And if you're not excited about such and such job, it's okay. Go to something that you are super excited about, or go to something that you do want to do, because motivation has to come from within.
And it's so hard because I guarantee out of the 75 people here, there's some people that aren't excited about what we're doing. There has to be.
Mhm.
And how do you get them to make that change? And I think about that a decent amount, because I know I was once at a company that I didn't like, and I kept going every day. And so it's just easy it is to go and not move on. And so you're right. I mean, it's the people, and some people who've been here that are great, who have left. Like, it's the people. And I want people that aren't passionate not to be here anymore. So we, maybe at one time we did a thing where we, paid people money if they wanted to leave. If they don't want to be here, we didn't want them here, so.
And then we talked recently too on one of our episodes about the idea of making room. And sometimes it's just making room. Just when someone does leave, that leaves a room for someone even better to come in. And I think if you've already lost the passion, or if you never had it in the first place, it's really hard to bring it out of someone. But what is that saying that they always say? It's better to be pushed by your dreams than pulled by, I don't know, something about that. But I think if you, what is it?
I don't know the line, but that I get it. I know what you're saying. And like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's hard to change. I don't know if it's upbringing, if it's challenge. There's people like different motivation. And of course I've made mistakes and learned how to get better. I mean, I started this company with no money in my basement, and then we took a little bit of venture funding. But when I paid my first person like over 70,000 or over 100,000 or 100, even more, it was like crazy to me, because I started with blood, sweat, and tears. And so it was really hard for me in the beginning to like pay up wages, because I just so wasn't used to that. And it was because I ate what I killed. Like I had to rob Peter to pay Paul at first. And so that was probably in the beginning stages. Some of the mistakes I made were like, maybe could have paid up a little bit more once we had some money, but it was so weird to me. Like, wow, if you're getting paid $6,000, that's $5,000 a month. That's $1,000 a week. Like, that seems like a lot of money, And then but as you grow and you have money and you figure this out, now there's several people that get 6 digits at our company, a lot of people. And so, so it's not small. So it's just these challenges that you the great people you want to keep, and you want them incentivized for success.
What was it like the first time you could just like breathe? You're like what year was it when you're like, we made it. You don't have to worry too much about we have to calculate how much we're making each week. And what was it like?
I don't know if there's ever a moment where it's like, I don't know if there's that, but I know what you mean, because like we were going to buy a company a year and a half ago and we didn't, or 2 years ago, and we should have, and it still bothers me. And like they say, don't look in the past. That's a rearview mirror, look forward. But I see it around and I get annoyed. But I should move on. And that's what we did. We were like, we're conserving, and now, we're looking to buy stuff. I mean, I think people need to enjoy the process more and not know everything and understand everything's not going to be perfect. But I don't think there's a moment that you just like, you can breathe. I just don't think that moment is there. I feel like
that's good to know.
Yeah. I mean, the stress may be a different stress. Like, how do you keep up with the growth versus, am I going to go out of business or something?
Maybe even just a sense of relief.
But trust me, when I started this company, I was waking up at 3 a.m. every single night with as much anxiety as you could imagine. As much anxiety as you could imagine. And you guys probably have heard stories. So as much anxiety as you could imagine. Not about me, I'm saying about in general. You probably heard stories. So I was there. I was there at 3 a.m, like felt helpless. I had a 3-month-old at home. I had no money. I didn't know what I was going to do. Yada, yada. But we got through that.
You did, with flying success. I definitely feel that your company is definitely successful. You do help so many people with the education that you provide, not only on the Pre-Market Prep Show, but also at the benzinga.com site. You've got Benzinga Pro. You're now doing a afternoon recap. Now you're doing your market update.
Yeah, that's at
It's
12:30. That's fun. Me and Luke do a little thing. We're gonna start making it more interesting and do it every day. And yeah, we're just trying to change the way financial information is delivered, just like the way you guys are too. And maybe there's some more stuff to do together, but like it's there's gonna be different ways to do it, and we don't know if it's gonna work. We don't know. We're just experimenting, just like everyone is.
I think that's the difference too, is you have the willingness to experiment. So many people will say, and then they'll never do it. Like you said, it's like, and you're willing to face what could be failure.
Well, how about this? Like before this show started, I got rave reviews of our show today, but like I got this email. I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
I'll read parts of it because it is like as harsh as you can get. Let's go. Hold on.
A stab to the chest.
Yeah. So here we go. So we did the show today, and this guy writes in. Hold on. Come on, don't be slow, Jason. We're live.
Was it the morning show, the afternoon show, or the?
Oh, here it is. It was the afternoon show. Okay. Which we started like a week ago. So we're gonna have tech issues and stuff. He goes, Jason, this was painful to watch. Seems unprepared. No substance sound mistakes. Luke intro cut short. It wasn't like Benzinga Pro that I'm used to. So sorry. And his name was, I don't know, I guess Mob or something. If you go to the YouTube channel, people are loving the show because they like the natural, like they love the natural stuff. But like our sound, like we make sure we're live or whatever. I don't know. But what I'm saying to you is, like, I love feedback. So I wrote back, thank you for the genuine feedback. So very grateful. I'm not sure what show you were watching, but trust me. Oh, he was saying we didn't have Benzinga Pro on it at all. We had Benzinga Pro on it like for half the show. So I don't know what show he's watching, but I'm like, whatever. But my point is, you have to be able to accept that kind of feedback, because if you're not getting it, then you're not doing something, like not everyone's going to love what you're doing. I promise. Like that. And so we may get 16 positives and 1 negative, or 60 positive, 1 negative, but the negatives are what you're going to remember. There used to be a site called Deadspin. That's all they focused on, was just to make the headlines very negative, and then people would pay attention to it. And that's what sticks out. But you have to be able to face that. I mean, like this guy genuinely may not like the show, or maybe he doesn't want us to have a show. Maybe he's a competitor. Maybe this. I have no idea. But the point is, you got to let that move off, and you got to keep doing it. And people don't want that out there. And listen, do I want everyone to be happy? Absolutely. But it's hard to please everyone.
Right.
Like part of me thinks I should make the show even longer and show like the phone calls that I'm on for work wise, like the deals that we're working on. And I should have that live and people can hear it, but there'll be some times where it's a little bit boring and there won't be that much action. So I haven't done it, but like that'll really piss this guy off. What were you going to say, Robin?
Thanks a lot, Jason, because then I'm going to have to go on the pre-market prep and defend my guys when people are ripping on them. Oh,
I know. I get a lot of those emails.
Yeah. And then Mitch has to come on and say, don't worry, Robin, I'm the hammer. I'll take care of it for you. And I'll say, okay, thanks, Mitch. Because, there's a time where you take feedback, and I get that. But when it starts to become pretty harassing and quite negative, there's a difference between giving some honest feedback about, hey, you guys, let's switch back to stocks, or hey, you guys, let's get back onto the no tangent Wednesday that's turned into a tangent.
Yep.
There's a difference between true feedback, like, hey, let's get back to the stocks. And then there's a difference of really attacking somebody.
Totally.
Haters.
Yeah. And you're right, Jason, when you said earlier that the community is fantastic. It is. You do really have a great community. And there's a couple traders and I that say good morning to each other every day. And I look forward to it. And they'll say, hey, where have you been? You haven't been here for a week or two. You really have grown
it's like a nice club. And there's some people that we just delete if they want to create hate. But so some of the feedback is warranted. Some of the times, like, hey, let's have a little more structure here. Great. It's great feedback. But when you attack someone for no apparent reason, or like just whatever, and just because you're either envious, jealous, or nothing better to do. Everyone attacks over the web. Everyone. I mean, just the nature of the world. So but I agree with you, Rob. But it's like, my point is, life is short, and it takes the same effort to be nice as being a jerk. I think. I really sincerely think so.
I agree.
And if you're doing it for no apparent reason, then I don't know. It's like, I agree with you. You know it, Robin. You know me. We should make you a moderator of the community then.
I
you
should
can,
be.
Yeah, so you can delete
It would be so good.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I should
I'd say, listen, don't you be messing with my boys.
No, all you do.
I wouldn't say that.
All you have to do is literally suspend them for 5 minutes, or then delete them. It's that it's that simple.
Sure, do it.
So I'm not there every day to do it. I'm definitely, so I wish I was. I mean, there's a lot to, are you guys trading, or are you watching the markets, or what are you doing throughout the day?
I work full time. Ashley and I are two rare people. We love what we do for our day jobs. And I do try to do swing trading or some leaps with some options.
You're smart.
Sometimes when I've got time off or I'm on a break or a lunch, I'll try to do an option play, but typically it's more day trade, or not day trading. It's more swing trading or really quick option scalps. Ashley?
Oh, same thing. Yeah. I work full time, and then I have some accounts on the side for trading, but not doing day trading just yet. One day.
Got it.
More longer term swing
Is there
trade.
something more strategic with us, or you want to come on in the afternoon, and talk about a couple of your trades on our little afternoon show? Let me know. Hit me up. I'm just Jason at Benzinga, but we're very casual about it. It's like I would literally tell you 5 minutes beforehand, hey, can you come on? Boom. Like it's not as formal as the morning show. So just keep that in mind. Oh, Randy just walked in here, by the way. I was talking to him. I'm not going to say what I was going to say to you guys. I forgot this is recorded. Anyway, where are you located, Ashley and Robin?
I am in Nashville, Tennessee. Robin?
I'm in McFarland, Wisconsin.
Oh, McFarland, the school, the cross country team?
Could be.
McFarland USA, the movie?
No.
Okay.
I've never heard of that movie.
Oh, no, I'm sure
it's the best. It's a Disney movie. It's the best.
It's a Disney. Okay, then I'm going to watch it on Disney Plus tonight.
Yeah, please do.
Gave me something to do.
And one of my friends just moved to Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's from Detroit, but he's in Nashville. A lot of lower taxers there. And Smile Direct is in Nashville.
Yes.
SDC.
So many companies have been moving to Nashville. It's insane.
Those are my friends too, the Smile Direct people.
Really?
Oh yeah, the 3 top people are from Michigan.
Wow.
I could call them on live right now, but we won't.
Well, I am in an SDC trade. I do have shares of SDC. Speaking of which, thank you for your education, Jason. After you mentioned TAST, T-A-S-T and G-A-N, I went and did my own research based on technical analysis, and I made a little bit of profit. I'm not a big money trader, but I trade a little bit for fun, and due to your education, I was able to make a little bit of profit.
That is awesome. I hope you should have got in my Express Spa 100% gainer in real time that one morning that people still talk about. But no, I mean, markets are not easy. You got to be careful, and it's not the get rich quick scheme. Just use it as instead of having cash in a checking account, that's like balance it out, get some dividends, get some wins. You want to be able to sleep at night. So yeah. So maybe next time we'll all move down to Nashville. It sounds like what everyone's doing these days.
It's the hip place to be.
I hear
Although sometimes I think of moving away from it. So it's too many people here now. It's getting too crowded.
It's getting crowded.
It's getting really crowded.
Okay. All right. Anything else you guys want to chat about?
No. Last minute thoughts. I know that we've taken way more time.
Well, what'd you say? What was the last thing you said?
Any last minute thoughts?
Last minute thoughts. Okay. My last minute thoughts are, treat others like you want to be treated, or even better than you want to be treated. Solve problems and execute. Solutions are everywhere. Execute. We live one life. I mean, I hate to say it, but we're all going to die. I'm saying to be morbid, but if you know that, then go do what you think. You don't want to be on your deathbed saying, I should have done this. And even if people will laugh at you, like there's things like people will laugh at me, but like, just got to remove that fear. And being in conversations with like you, Ashley and Robin, like it motivates me. It motivates me. Like it re-energizes me too. So thank you. Thanks for doing the show, and we'll be in touch offline.
Of course. Sounds wonderful. And until next time, guys, stay awesome.
And keep reaching for your anything.
Thank you.
Love it.
Bye.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.